Let us consider the dynamics of pure rotation about an axis. If you consider a system which is isolated, the total internal torque in the system is 0. That means the net torque acting inside that is the internal torque, it is 0. Of course, there can be external torques. A pure rotation means if you are considering an object that is rotating about an axis and that axis is fixed. So this fixed axis of rotation where there is no translation of the axis is not moving. About a particular axis, the object is rotating. For example, a fan is rotating about an axle, spinning of fan blade. Here the axis is stationary, axis is not moving. It is about this axis the blade is moving. That is fixed axis rotation. Another example is the motion of a door. You are opening a door. The door is opening with respect to a fixed point, that is the hinge, where the door is joined to the wall. About the hinge it is rotating. That is also fixed axis rotation. The axis is not moving. There is no translation of the axis. That is the example of a pure axis rotation. And let us consider a body that is rotating with angular velocity omega about the z axis. The z component of angular momentum, Lz, we have discussed earlier, equal to I omega. And the torque acting is rate of change of angular momentum, that is d by dt of L. This is the external torque, because internal torque we have taken it to be 0. Internal torque inside an object is 0. So angular momentum is the z component of angular momentum. So the torque also you will have only the, you need to consider the z component of the torque. Tau z equal to d by dt of I omega. I you can take outside. I into d omega by dt. D omega by dt is the angular acceleration alpha. So this is equal to I alpha. We are considering rotation only about the z axis. Therefore we can drop the subscript z, because whatever we are mentioning is specified particularly in the case of z component only. So instead of this I can again write tau equal to I alpha. This is similar to our Newton's equation F equal to ma in the linear motion. Corresponding to torque you have the force, corresponding to mass you have angular moment of inertia, corresponding to linear acceleration you have angular acceleration. So this is the analogy in the rotational and linear motion. Similarly, the expression for kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is half mv square. The object we are considering it to be made up of large number including minute particles. So each of this small particle mj has got a kinetic energy. So we are considering the individual particle of which the object is made of. m1, m2, m3, etc. The whole total will be the total mass m, capital M. So one such small particle in the material you are considering, the jth particle which has velocity vj, so its kinetic energy will be half mj vj square. Like that we have to sum up all the particles, so the total kinetic energy will be sum over half mj vj square. Now we have we know the relation between v and omega. V equal to r omega you have studied, where r is the distance. Instead of r we have considered in these cases the notation rho j. So instead of v I can write vj is rho j omega j. So vj square will be rho j square omega square. I made this substitution over here, and sum over mj rho j square is our moment of inertia I, which we discussed in the previous class. So you can substitute it as half I omega square. So kinetic energy in the rotational motion you get it as half I omega square. Again you look at the correspondence in the linear motion. Kinetic energy half mv square. So corresponding to m you have the moment of inertia I. Instead of linear velocity v you have angular velocity omega. Now let us consider one example of pure rotation. This is the Atwood's machine. There is a pulley. This is a pulley of mass mp. Two masses M1 and M2 are attached to a rope which is sliding over the pulley. We assume the rope to be frictionless. That means we assume that there is no slipping of the rope. Under that assumption, we are going to study the system. The radius of the pulley is R. M1 is acting downwards. Maybe M1 is greater than M2. So this is coming down. M2 is moving up. M1 is coming down. A tension T1 is there in the rope. Since it is coming down, this is the direction of acceleration downward. M2 is moving up because M1 is coming down. So acceleration is in the upward direction. This is the tension T2 in the string. If M is the mass, the weight acting is, this is M1 means weight acting downwards will be W1, which is M1G. Correspondingly, the weight acting W2 will be M2G. So we can write down the equation of motion in these two cases. First, let us take the case of this mass. Its weight W1 is acting downwards. T1 is acting upward. So T1 is acting upward and the pulley is coming, the mass M1 is coming downward. So the equation of motion will be W1 minus T1. W1 acting downward, T1 acting upward. That difference will be equivalent to M1A. M1 is this mass and this is the acceleration in this direction. This difference will be equal to M1A. Similarly, look at the mass M2. Mass M2 is moving up. W2 is acting downward, T2 is acting upward. So T2 minus W2 will be equal to M2 is accelerating in the upward direction. So this is equal to M2A. Now, the torque acting on this pulley. If T1 is the tension here and this is the distance separation between the center, the torque, and this is R2, this is T2, this distance is R. So the torque acting will be T1R minus T2R. That is equal to I alpha. You have discussed torque equal to I alpha. So T1R minus T2R equal to I alpha. Now let us consider the force that is acting at the axle. Here we have considered the acceleration of this mass M1, this acceleration of mass M2 in this direction. Now let us consider about the axle. This is the axle of the pulley. What is the weight acting or what is the force acting at the axle? Now the pulley is rotating about the axle. The pulley is not falling down. That means the forces here are balanced. Now let us look at what are the forces acting at this point where you have the axle. The mass of the pulley is MP. So the weight acting will be MP into G, which is WP. So weight is acting downwards due to gravity. Then at this point, with respect to the axle, T1 is acting in this direction, T2 is also acting in this direction about the axle you have considering. So the effective force which is balancing this axle is stationary, it is not falling down. That means these forces cancel out each other. So now let us write N1 in the upward direction. With respect to this point, T1 is acting downward. With respect to this point, T2 is acting downward, minus WP equal to 0. The force is balanced by the weight of the pulley and the tensions. Now let us see the velocity of the rope. V is omega r. Acceleration A. dV by dt is A. Correspondingly d omega by dt into r. d omega by dt is alpha into r. So acceleration A is alpha r. Alpha is the angular acceleration. Now using equation 1 and 2. Which are equations 1 and 2? This is equation 1, this is equation 2. You can combine these two equations and write omega 1 minus omega 2 minus T1 minus T2 equal to m1 plus m2 into A. Now using equation 3. Equation 3 is the expression for torque. Torque tau is equal to I alpha. So T2 minus T1 equal to I alpha by R. Again substitute for alpha as A by R. So this becomes IA by R square. So you can make the substitution here. So that W1 minus W2 minus IA by R square equal to M1 plus M2 into A. Now if we are considering the pulley as a simple disc, its moment of inertia for disc is mr square by 2. Here the mass of the pulley is mp, so I is equal to mp r square by 2. So this you can substitute for I in this equation, rearrange it. So m1 W1 minus W2 is M1G minus M2G, that is M1 minus M2 into G. Then IA by R square I have taken in this side, which is MPA by R square. Sorry, MPA by 2 you get, because I made the substitution here. R square will get cancelled off. And you already have M1 plus M2 into A over here. A you can take as a common factor, rearrange it and get the expression for the acceleration A as M1 minus M2 into G divided by M1 plus M2 plus MP by 2. You have studied this in your previous classes also. The pulley will increase the total inertial mass of the system. But in comparison with hanging weights, the effective mass of the pulley is only half of its real mass. So this is the advantage of an Atwood's machine.